All right, I was looking at this assignment, and we've done this together, and unless you're watching this at another point in time, and maybe you've never done this with me, but here's this measurement and layout practice assignment where you have to draw some angles on one side, and you need to draw some lines on the other. I'm going to walk you through this because I really want this to be a skill that you've got just nailed down solid, and if that means that you're doing it side by side with me, that's okay. It's going to be really hard to cheat off this video because you're still going to have to manipulate a protractor. All right, so let's start off. Before you do anything else, put your name on your paper, please. And I'm going to put my name on here. And we'll just call this 0 period. Make sure you put your correct period on there. All right, first up, we're going to draw a 54-degree angle. These boxes, you notice they're considerably smaller than the protractor that we're using. I kind of did that on purpose, just to mess with you a little bit. You're going to have to get out of the box. All right, so to draw an angle, we're going to draw two rays. So the first one's just a starter ray. Look at that, all the way into the other box. And definition of a ray is a point, and then it goes on forever. Okay, so this point here is going to be our vertex, and I put a mark there because when I put my protractor on it, that mark's going to get lost, or the end of that line is going to get lost in my protractor. And what I'm doing is I'm lining up that mark right here on this X on my protractor. And then the ray that I drew, the line that I drew, is going to go exactly on that 0 mark. So I have my protractor in position here, and notice my protractor has already gone out of the box. Okay, I need 54 degrees. So I'm going to count. Now notice there's two scales. One starts from 0 and goes up. One starts from 180 and goes down. Okay, and this is where we make a lot of mistakes. So I'm going to count 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay, on this inside scale, there's no degree marks. So what I need to do is I need to switch to the outside scale and use these marks to make my last individual degree measurements. So I ended at 50. I know it's going to be more than 50, so I go out here to the 130 mark, and I'm just going to count 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And when I make my mark, I start at the 4, and I go out and make a V. Okay? If I don't see this on your paper, I won't even measure it. It's just wrong. Okay? And then we need to connect the vertex with the mark that we made. What I like to do is put my pencil on that point and just slide my ruler right up to that. Go there. And go ahead and just zoom it right on out of everywhere. If we want to be super mathematical about this, put the arrow on there to show that it is a ray. Okay, now this one here is going to be pretty obvious because I don't have anything going on over here. But I do want to still indicate that that's the angle that I'm measuring. Okay, and then you can really clarify it by actually writing the degree sign in there again. Okay, there's our 54 degree. We'll do the same thing for our 90-degree angle. Just draw a random line in there somewhere. And since I know this is going to be kind of up and down, I'm going to put my vertex right here. Okay, now you might be tempted just to guess like that. Don't do it. Every single time you're going to line up the vertex with the center of your protractor. Make sure your line's on the 0 mark. Okay, in this case, the 90 is the same whether we're using the inside or outside scale. We always want to use the farthest point away when we're measuring because it'll give us a more accurate measurement. Put my pencil there, slide that into place there, and go like that. I'm actually off a little bit right there. If that was yours, I'd probably deduct a half a point. Okay, what I can do here, instead of showing this arc, I can show the 90 degree, the perpendicular mark right there. Then I don't have to write the angle. This right here says that's 90 degrees. Okay, down here we're looking at this 165 degree angle. Now we're going to be bigger than 90 degrees. Okay, my angle's going to look something like that when I draw it. So I'm thinking in my head, I need my vertex to not be over here, or I'm going to be off the paper. Let's just start with a straight line. And yes, I went out of the box on both sides. You guys are going to be just fine. I'm going to put my vertex right here this time because I know that my angle's got to go something like that. Okay, once again, vertex on the mark, like so. Okay, if this is 0, I'm counting 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 90, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160. So I'm going to be between 160 and 170. I go to the outside of the scale, and I count 5, and you notice this mark's just a little bit longer. That's my 5 mark. And I make my mark right there. And then connect the lines. Okay, now here we start getting into a situation where you're going to confuse the person scoring this, because now we've created two angles, angle A and angle B. We need to clarify which one is the one that we're indicating as the 165-degree angle. And that's this big one, that's the obtuse angle. So I'm going to draw an arc there, and I'm also going to write 165 degrees in there to indicate this is the one I want you to measure. If you simply draw the line, that's going to be a wrong answer in terms of how I grade this, because I don't know which one you've indicated. Okay, we'll keep going. 72-degree angle, it's less than 90. Once again, I'm out of the box. There's my vertex. I'm going to go ahead and draw arrows on these just because I feel like being picky. Okay, and so there's 70. We switch to the outside here and make sure I'm getting bigger. I'm going towards the 80. 70, 71, 72. And connect the angles. Draw an arc right there to show that this is the side we're measuring, and write 72 degrees. Our 15-degree angles down here. Okay, that's going to be a problem for me, but I'll just put my arrow on that side of it. Okay, again, don't forget to mark the vertex. Line the crosshairs up on the vertex that you marked. There's 10 degrees, there's 20 degrees. That longer mark right there is my 5-degree mark. Make a V and connect. Okay, and even though this is pretty clear that this is the angle because there's nothing on this side, I'm still going to keep doing this just because we want to use best practices. 15 degrees. Okay, now I'm kind of getting lines bumping into each other all over the place. As long as the core of my angle, the vertex, the measurement, and the arc is inside the box, it'll be pretty easy to see. Okay, 101-degree angle, that's greater than 90, so I'll need a vertex kind of in the middle probably. There's my vertex. I guess technically that's not going to be there because it's just a ray, it's not a line. Okay, I predict this is going to be the one you mess up on because it's so close to 90 degrees. Okay, so we're starting where the arrow is. That's why I erased that arrow there, because I want to make sure where the arrow is, that's 0 degrees. Line that up. And 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, and I want to go 1 degree bigger than 100. Right there. Yep, it's all the way up in that box, but as soon as I do this, I can see that this line connects down here. Draw my angle and write 101 degrees. Okay, now the bonus is I'm not going to do completely free, but I'm going to get you kind of set up here, okay? So we're going to draw this. I'm going to put an arrow on one end and a vertex right here, and we're looking for a 210-degree angle. So I know if this is 0 degrees over here, and I start rotating around, when I get to here, that's 90 degrees. If I keep rotating around to this backside here, that's 180 degrees, and that's the extent of my protractor. I need to keep going down this way some more. Okay, so we need 210. My protractor can only measure 180, so I'm going to have to do this with my protractor to make my angle. Okay, now you notice I've already started my arc right here. The angle is going to be from here around here to some point. So when you're done drawing this angle, make sure you have this arc drawn, and it's going to be somewhere over here in that area. That's our third quadrant. Okay, we'll do the same thing on this other bonus, the 350-degree angle. There's a couple of ways you can attack this. I'm going to show you the basic way here. Get this kind of out of the way here. You can draw those angles any direction you want as long as they match up. So there's that. There's my vertex. And again, it's going to be 90, 180, It's going to carry around here. If you're a skateboarder, you'll know what a 270 is. You also know that we need to keep going, so my arc when I'm done is going to go all the way around in a big spiral, and it's going to be somewhere over here in this quadrant. Okay? You might also look and say, oh, 350, that's pretty close to a complete circle, which is, how many degrees? I'll let you figure that out. So you could also count backwards there. Okay, so there's your bonuses. So there's side one, that's angles. Now let's switch to the back side. We're going to switch from our protractor to a ruler. And we've got two sections here, vertical lines, horizontal lines. Okay, a vertical line is one that goes this way. So every line in this section right here is going to be vertical. Every line I draw down here is going to be horizontal, like that. Okay, think horizon. So if I look out on a bright sunny morning, there's Mount Hood, there's the sun coming up. That's the horizon. Okay, so up here, I want to draw a vertical line 1 1/2 inches from the right edge of this box. If you're like some people I know, you might forget that that's the right edge over there. Okay, now notice my ruler is being held in a horizontal position. I'm using that to make the measurement. Okay, so what I want to do, I'm just going to pick any inch mark. I'll use the 5-inch mark. And I need to go 1 1/2 inches away from the right edge. So I go 1 1/2, and I make a mark. And I'm going to make 2 marks. So there's 1 1/2. And again, I'm using the V because it gives me a more precise way to locate my points. So I measured in a horizontal position to draw the line. I'm going to draw it in a vertical position. And notice again how I use my pencil to hold that point. I slide up to my pencil and I rotate to the other point. Okay, and then I can connect my lines like so. So that's a vertical line, but I measured from a horizontal position. Okay, next box we're going from the left edge, 2 3/8. So I've got an inch mark lined up on my line. There's 1, there's 2, 1 2 3/8. Okay, also if you do the triangle, it's easier for me to grade these. Okay, again, 1 2 1 2 3/8. Hold the point, rotate in, draw the line. Okay, so what I see a lot of times is when you draw the line, you're drawing like this. You go from here and you actually draw the line 2 3/8 inches long. But this is not what it asks you to do. It asks you to draw a vertical line. So this is not what I want to see. I want to see the vertical line with those measurements at 2 3/8. Okay, draw 2 vertical lines, 1/2 and 7/8. Okay, I'm going to go a little faster now. There's 1/2 and 7/8. Up on the top edge here, I'm going to hide it in the words there. 1/2 and 7/8. And draw these lines. Okay, this one here, you might be tempted to start. It says draw as many vertical lines that will fit a 1/2 inch apart inside this box. You might be tempted to start with your mark there, but I'm telling you, you can get 1 extra line in here. If I shift my ruler just a little bit, and I need to make sure that I shift it the same amount each time. So what I did is I took my inch mark and I moved it over 1/8 of an inch. I have to do the same thing on the top here. And then I can go every 1/2 inch now and put a mark. And by doing that, I squeezed 1 extra line in there. I'm not going to grade you down if you don't get the last line in, but if you want to be technical about it. It's kind of hard to see with that foggy spot. I'm going to move this over a little bit. There we go, that's better. Okay, and remember I'm shifting this 1/8 of an inch. I hope you're enjoying my music in the background. This would be my Michael Franti mix. Okay, so if I did this right, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 possible lines in there. All right, we're going to do basically the same thing down here on the horizontal lines, only we're going to make everything the opposite. So if my line is horizontal, I'm going to measure in a vertical position. So we're drawing a horizontal line 1 1/8 of an inch above the bottom. There's the bottom. I'm going to measure up 1 1/8, and I'm going to make 2 marks, always making 2 marks, and connect them. Okay, 1 3/16 below the top. So this time we start at the top. We're going to measure in a vertical position to draw a horizontal line. There's 1 inch and 3/16. 1 inch and 3/16. And then we draw the line. Okay, this third one, if you've got some issues with organization, OCD, you like to live in the box, this is going to make you crazy because it has to go out of the box. Okay, I'm drawing a horizontal line, so I'm measuring vertically, 1 15/16 below the top. So we start at the top, go down 1. I'm going to go to a not blurry section of my ruler. All right, there's 1 15/16 is just 1/16 short of the 10 mark, or short of the inch mark. Same thing here, 1 15/16. And we connect the marks. Finally, the last one, draw a horizontal line across the middle of this box. There's a couple of ways we can attack this. I'm going to show you the easier one. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to measure the box, and I can see that it is 1 11/16. Okay, I'll show you a cheat here. I'm going to guess that the middle is 7/8. So I go right like this, and I make a mark at 7/8 from the top. Then I go from the bottom, and I make a mark at 7/8. Okay, and so the middle of the box is going to be between those. So from the bottom of the box, if I measure 7/8 and come down about a 1/16 of an inch apart, so the middle of the box is going to be 1/32 of an inch less than 7/8. Okay, so it's between the 7/8 mark and the 11/16 mark. So we're going to roll back here to the edge, and I'm going to go right between the 11/16 and the 7/8. From the bottom edge, between 11/16, nope, that's 13/16 and 7/8. And if I draw this line, I'm off by a little bit, but I can see that it's between my two lines there. Okay, what I'm looking for is that you've got a measurement you've actually done, and you're within a 1/16 of an inch of the middle. You cannot guess on this. You have to do some kind of measuring. Okay, the challenge, I'll leave that up to you. Let's plan on giving that about 5 or 10 minutes extra. All right, so here we are. We've got our assignment done. One more time, I'm going to double check to make sure my name's on the front, and we're ready to turn in. This is what I'm looking for. I should see a nice page, lines going out of the boxes. When I take my ruler, or my protractor rather, and I set it on your angle to check it, it goes past the edge of the protractor. If it does not go past the edge of my protractor, it's automatically wrong. So make sure you're drawing those lines outside of the box. You can draw them all the way to the edge of the page if you want. If this bothers you, use a different color for each angle, then they kind of stand apart. Whatever works for you, as long as I can measure that angle and it's within a degree. All right, guys, good luck.